What's in the Bag? By David Wright. Mr. Henry was waiting to order his breakfast when a middle-aged woman with graying curls sat down beside him.
"Do you mind if I sit here?"
she asked.
"No, not at all,"
Henry replied.
"I've always thought it a little silly that people had to wait at the door when there were all these empty chairs about."
A short time later, the woman's food arrived. French toast with strawberries and whipped cream. Henry hadn't even ordered yet. He hadn't seen the woman order, but she may have been a regular. Who knows? Henry waved his menu at the server before he could escape back into the chaos.
"Excuse me, could I have the eggs and bacon?"
The waiter looked annoyed.
"Would you like a knife with that?" "I guess so. Most people prefer to eat their eggs with a knife and fork."
He took the menu and left. Henry looked at the table in front of him. It was true. He had no cutlery. The woman had taken it. Perhaps the waiter had assumed that he was an interloper at the woman's table, and not the other way around, or perhaps he was just edgy. The woman looked up from her breakfast.
"That was rude. I think you should complain to the manager. It doesn't matter as long as he brings me my eggs."
Henry smirked.
"But it does remind me of a story I use with my creative writing class." "Oh, tell me. I love stories." A man enters a restaurant carrying a black leather briefcase. He has a burger and a coffee, pays his bill, and leaves without the bag. He hails a taxi and tells the driver to head to the airport. After traveling for about 10 minutes, the man suddenly tells the taxi driver to turn around. The driver explains that he can't turn around because they are in the middle of a bridge. He'll have to wait until they get to the other side. A moment later, the man takes out a gun and shoots himself. What a horrible story. Yes, I guess it is if you think about it, but kids don't take it all that seriously. You'd be surprised at some of the explanations they come up with.
At that moment, the waiter arrived. He set the plate of greasy eggs and bacon in front of Henry and smiled.
"And here is your knife. And I even brought you a fork to go with it. Enjoy."
Then he left. This time, the woman hardly noticed the waiter.
"Like what? Boy, do these look good." "Pardon me?" "Oh, yes." "The story."
Henry began dicing his eggs.
"Well, a business portfolio, that's one. The man was heading for the most important job interview of his life, and he forgot his resume. Not exactly an A paper, that one."
Henry took a bite of his eggs.
"An engagement ring. That was a romantic notion, but the details were a little fuzzy. Money. That's always a good bet. The man had $1 million in his briefcase, and he knew that it would be stolen before he got back."
Henry took another bite.
"Some students come up with more abstract answers, like love and happiness. Dignity. That wasn't a bad response."
Henry wiped his mouth with a napkin.
"Test papers. The teacher left the final exams behind after spending 30 hours marking them. That's my personal favorite."
Mr. Henry laughed to himself. Suddenly he stopped and held up his finger.
"A nuclear bomb, that's the number one answer, although I don't imagine you could fit a nuclear bomb in a briefcase. But what do I know?"
Henry took a final bite of his eggs. A spot of yellow yolk dripped on his chin, but he wiped it with a napkin before the woman could see.
"You see, the bomb was set on a timer that had to be deactivated every 10 minutes. The man knew that it was too late to get away, so he decided to save himself the misery." "But why did he have a nuclear bomb?"
Henry's eggs were gone, so he went to work on the bacon.
"Oh, there are lots of different reasons for that. Kill the president. Kill his ex-wife. Kill his therapist, or he's just suicidal, and he wants to go out with a bang."
The woman shook her head. She appeared to have lost all interest in her strawberries and whipped cream.
"If you don't mind me asking, why would you do something like that?"
Mr. Henry looked up from his bacon.
"Kill myself? No, no. Why would you get kids to write about such awful things like that?
Mr. Henry nodded.
It's not something I would enjoy, believe me. But the dilemma does present some interesting issues. It makes you think about what you truly value. What could possibly be worth dying for? What could you not possibly live without? And what does this have to do with our rude waiter? Appearances can be deceiving. The waiter took me for something I was not. People are a lot like the man's briefcase. You never know what's inside them.
Henry stuffed the last piece of bacon into his mouth.
You could be a super spy for all I know.
The woman looked offended.
I assure you that I am not.
Henry smiled.
Of course not.
The woman looked unsatisfied.
But what's the right answer?
Henry's eyes glazed over.
Coffee.
He looked at his empty plate.
I could have used a coffee, but alas, no time. Thank you for the conversation. I'm sorry I have to run.
Henry put some money on the table and stood up to leave.
Wait a minute.
Mr. Henry looked back, startled.
Your bag.
The woman pointed, not wanting to touch it.
Oh, of course. I'd kill myself if I left that behind.
Mr. Henry laughed. The woman did not. The end. What's in the Bag? By David Wright.